Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into GraphQL, a query language for your API and a server-side runtime that makes fetching data more efficient and flexible. By the end of this video, you will know how GraphQL works, how to set it up, and why it's such a game changer for modern APIs. So first, we answer the what question as always. So what is GraphQL? GraphQL was open sourced by Facebook back in 2015 and has been adopted in a variety of programming languages. Unlike REST, which usually relies on multiple endpoints, GraphQL lets you define a single endpoint and query exactly the data you need, no more, no less. One, not tied to any database. It's important to remember that GraphQL isn't bound to a specific database or storage engine. Instead, it works with your existing code and data sources behind the scenes. Number two, wide ecosystem. If you already know GraphQL basics, there are libraries for virtually every language like Node.js, Python, Ruby, Go, and more. Likewise, there are plenty of client libraries that let your application query existing GraphQL APIs. Okay, let's look at an example so we can understand it better. And let's just do this. Okay, one of the GraphQL's most powerful features, let me focus on this one. One of the GraphQL's most powerful features, it is a type system. You describe your data using a type and fields. A simple example might look like, as you can see here, like I want a query and I get user, I want to get the object and I want to have the user in it. And actually the user has one property name and this name is a string. And when you do this, then you will write a resolver function to specify where each field's data comes from. So let's look at a resolver function. This is a resolver function. We provide data from the me field on the query type, as you can see here. As you can see, there is a query me function is fetching the authenticated user, while we have a username function uses the user's ID to get a full name from a database. This separation of schema definitions and resolver functions is what makes GraphQL so flexible. Okay, you need to understand that we query exact what we need. We don't query more than that. So once your GraphQL service is up and running, typically at a URL, clients can send queries that are validated against your schema. For example, you can have this schema and this query. Basically, if our logged in user is, for example, Luke Skywalker, for example, the server might return something like that. Look, you asked me and you want the name, and you get me and you get the name from it. So if our logged in user is Luke Skywalker, the server will return something like that. Notice how the query mirrors the structures of the return data. This means clients can control exactly what fields they get back. No underfetching or overfetching. It's all delivered in one request, no matter how many data sources lie behind the scenes. Okay, you need to know that you can evolve your API. API evolutions is often tricky. REST APIs sometimes require multiple versions to handle new features while maintaining backward compatibility. GraphQL, however, lets you separate fields gradually and introduce new ones as needed. For example, if you wanted to expand a user type to include a more detailed same name structured, we could write something like that. We could add a full name, nickname, and we could departure the string reason use full name, for example. So GraphQL tools can then guide client developers to use the new fields when it's safe to do so. You remove the old field entirely. So if you try it out, like the best way to learn GraphQL is to start playing around with queries. Many GraphQL servers come with interactive playgrounds or use tools like Postman. For example, you can do something like that. This is an example of GraphQL query. If your server is set up with this field, it will respond with something like that. And it will, as you can see here, it will respond with data in the exact same shape you requested. Feel free to experiment, add or remove fields, and see how the response changes in real time. So we can make a small recap. That was like a friendly introduction. So GraphQL lets you fetch data from a single endpoint with exactly the fields you want. Number two, it uses a type system to define the shape of data and resolver functions to pull data from various sources. Number three, it's not tied to a specific database, which keeps it extremely flexible. Number four, GraphQL approach to versioning allows continuous evolution without forcing clients onto and new endpoints. If you found this introduction helpful, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content on web development and software engineering. Let me know in the comment section below if there is any you would like to see in the future in a future GraphQL tutorials, like advanced querying, mutations, or how to integrate with popular frameworks. Thanks you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.